Many of us have experienced the concern of keeping our valuables and ourselves safe while on travels. First, I will tell a narrative story about being stolen from in New York City. Second, according to the FBI statistic reports, crimes including theft reported to the New York City Police Department reached nearly 500,000 according to fedstats.gov. That does not even account for the items that go unreported. Therefore, there are safer cities in the United States to travel to, and I will outline them for you. Third, most travelers, such as business persons and nurses, have clever tips to keep themselves and their belongings safe. I will explain each tip to you. But first, I will tell you the narrative story about my friend who was in New York City and got stolen from. Last week, I spoke with my friend who was in New York for martial arts training. He called me because he wanted to share some concerning news. At first, he explained that everything was going well. He arrived at the studio on Wednesday and cordially met with all the instructors, and everything was going well. On Thursday, he arrived early in the morning and changed in the men's locker room. He also told me that there were other students in there when he was changing. At 3 p.m., he started classes, and he explained to me that other students will be there at the time of his training. After his training seminar ended at 9 p.m., he returned to the locker room to change and head back to his hotel. He reached into the locker to grab his bag when he realized that all of his belongings were there, but the front zipper was open. He dumped out everything and accounted for his wallet, ID, phone, debit card, traveler's checks. However, the cash that he had brought with him was gone. He explained that his heart dropped and his stomach dropped as well, and he was astonished that someone would steal from him in a martial arts studio. He couldn't believe that after all the discipline and honesty and credibility that was taught to these people, that someone would actually steal from him. After he explained his story, he told me, quote, "I guess I never can be too comfortable, especially when I'm not in my home studio in the big city of New York across the country. And the fact is, I really should have used the lockers provided for me." The advice he gave me was to always be cautious of your surroundings no matter where you are, and never be comfortable and disregard your personal and valuable belongings. If something means something to you, then it probably means something to somebody else, and that is a moral that we will carry throughout this speech. Second, you should really get to know the city on which you're planning to travel. According to the Nursing Journal, Lake Forest, California and Mission Viejo, California are among the safest cities to travel in the United States. It's interesting to note that my friend is from Lake Forest and Portola Hills, California, and is also a master of a Taekwondo studio there. And that's probably why he let his guard down when he was in New York City traveling. New York City, on the other hand, is in the top 50 of the unsafest cities in the United States. Now I will include 8 tips for safe travels. The first 2 are particularly for the ladies. According to Nursing Journal, if you're a single woman traveler, if you must ask for directions, you want to try and ask family members or mothers with children that you see. And it may also be helpful to disclose that you're meeting your husband or a close friend at this place that you're going, so that way people don't think you're not traveling alone. Now, travel tips for all. You really want to do what it takes to protect and secure your items, and don't rely on a hotel to reimburse you. Second, leave the television or light on in the hotel room and place the Do Not Disturb plaque on the door when you leave. According to USA Today, there are some businessmen who will leave ESPN on in their rooms while they go to their meetings. That way, if someone does snoop around, it's kind of a deterrent when they hear the television on. Use the safes provided by the hotel and only take small amounts of cash from your wallet with you before you decide to venture around. And then lock up the extra cash in the safe. Oftentimes, hotels will provide safes for their guests in the closet, and this is a good tool to use to keep things safe while you're on vacation. You really want to try and blend in with your attire and your accessories. You really don't want to be the tourist walking around with the binoculars and the cargo shorts in a place that you really don't know where you're at. That'll really be a target. 5. Never use an unsecured Wi-Fi connection. Always get the password from the airport or hotel and log in, and then use the secured network so that you're not susceptible to any online theft. And 6, according to traveling nurses and traveling business persons in USA Today, you really should just leave your valuables at home. Again, if you have anything that's valuable, it may be valuable to someone else. In conclusion, it is important for us to listen to others' first-hand accounts and the lessons learned in order to gain understanding about the importance of knowing to use any barriers to protect your belongings. We also have determined that we should brush up on the city we're going to visit. This is important because you don't want to be going to a city that is going to be unsafe for you. And we have also isolated 8 tips from traveling nurses and business people to keep you and your belongings safe. So happy travels this summer.